Buongiorno, guys. This week's update coming live from my childhood bedroom. Some super cool things happened. A user asked exactly for the feature that we've secretly been building already. We launched a super cool update to the post idea generator, and our SEO is starting to compound, and we see very good results. Let me tell you more about all of these in detail. So, as you might know, if you followed last week's update, on Monday, the new weekly analytics report emails went live. And on Tuesday, Kieran got back in the private user group giving me this feedback. I looked at the first weekly report yesterday, good stuff in there, but I wonder, is there a way that the ghostwriter could give that type of guidance when the post is still in draft? So basically before posting. And I was like, yes, 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 yeah. Because we're basically building exactly that already in the background. And this is just validation gold, right? So let me give you a rough idea of what we're building. It's still a few weeks out, but obviously we're making these reports part of a full learning and training content strategist. And the idea is that this AI strategist will be able to come up with hypotheses, running tests, learning from it, and iterating and learning on your content and improving your stuff for your audience. So, this is what we're cooking up at the moment, and I'm so excited about it. Please stay tuned. I'll have more updates for you next week, and I hope to get it out this month as well. All right, this week's updates, both of them under the hood, both of them related to our post suggestions. And they're cool, but I found that over time, the suggestions were a little bit too similar. So we've designed a system to create more of a variety and actually to go up and down in creativity when it generates these ideas. And I'm very curious about what you think, but I have a feeling that it really, really helps. So we're basically tracking how often we talk about one thing in a certain way, and then we dial up the creativity for the AI to come up with fresher, better versions. I'm really curious how this plays out in the long run. Another thing that we did is that we've built a fact checker agent, and that one is really helping. So, as you know, AI hallucinates sometimes, and with these suggestions, it would come up with stuff that sounds great. Like I've closed $100,000 deal last week, for example. But really, it has no substance for it. If it's general claims, like for example, this one here, why 98.6% of LinkedIn users are leaving money on the table and how to become the 1.4 that actually get noticed. So it would fact check this. And in this case, it checks that only 1.4% of LinkedIn users are actively posting. But it not only checks against the internet, it also checks against your personal knowledge documentation that we built in the background. If you check your topics, we are creating these knowledge documents. Both of these updates should help insanely to make sure we get a great variety and we do talk about the same stuff, but we actually do it in 1,000 different ways. Now, this chart is easily becoming my favorite thing to look at lately. Look at this nice growth curve in the impressions. We are starting to hit 5,000 impressions. And this is not a spike anymore. This is compounding SEO growth. We actually start noticing that in the signups as well. Over the last couple of weeks, we had 50% more signups than in the previous weeks. So this is really coming together. This week we've launched a couple of these comparison pages, like best alternative for Tablio in 2025, and I actually believe we are. Obviously, blog posts are also rolling out, and we are really starting our explosive growth phase here today. It's kind of funny recording this from my childhood bedroom, which is now my mom's office. There's like baby pictures of me on that wall over there. But it's so good to be home. I come from a family of entrepreneurs. My parents actually started another business in their 60s and they're still like at it and quite successful, and it's so inspirational. And it always reminds me where I learned the grit to actually do all these things and to go through all the phases and keep smiling and keep positive while while you're at it. They are obviously on the complete other end of the business spectrum, like very offline. But the struggles and the waves and the comings and goings and the core of it all and the mindset is the same. So it's really cool to like suck in that vibe, get grounded with it a little bit as well. And it really reminds me of why I'm actually doing this and why I love doing it so much. And just before I left to come here, we've managed to wrap up our pricing tiers and service tiers for the productized service, the done for you LinkedIn service that we are planning to offer together with Mark. The whole idea for this is that we'll take care of your LinkedIn, for example. It's not just content, it's also outreach. And you will basically get qualified leads as a result from it with the least amount of time invest possible on your end. If that sounds interesting to you, please shoot me a DM and I'll get you on the waitlist for our pilot. I'm really happy with the outcome of this week, and next week we'll just keep it going. More SEO, more AI systems in the background. I don't think I have any, flashy new front end features for the next couple of weeks, but we are really, really giving the backend and the core system a big overhaul at the moment. So stay tuned because this will be mind blowing. As you know, our vision for Continent is not to build a software, but to build a team of agents and to create a user experience that feels like managing a process rather than working with a software. And we are on such a good trajectory at the moment, and we are getting closer and closer and closer to this every week. And I love watching this and being part of this so much. Small reminder, if you want to grow on LinkedIn, two ways that we can help. Try out Content. It takes away 90% of the content hassle, and there's a 14-day free trial, so nothing to lose there. If you still feel like those 10% are too much for you, shoot me a DM and I'll get you on the pilot for our productized service, and you'll be the first to know when we go live with that. I'll be off to some more coding and hopefully some nice food from my mom. See you guys.